Welcome back, everyone. Today I bring you a little bit of a different video once again. I have done one of those a bit ago because this is 2v2, as you can see, because we had a 2v2 Swiss-style one-day tournament again, organized by Protoss. And yeah, well, the last time I did it was the last time Protoss did one of those. And you can also see I am playing with Stahlbrecher once again. So the German dynamic duo has come back together. The boys are back in town to dominate this tournament. Today's video is also a little bit late, most likely, because I actually wanted to show you the first game as well, because that was on a community map, or like a workshop map, because it's obviously not done by like the whole community, but like by a single guy. Somero, which is a really cool map in my opinion. It's not like best balanced or whatever, but I think it's actually decent, and it just looks cool. And it was quite a fun game against Jeremy and Nocturna. But unfortunately, the replay kind of like just didn't work. Like it worked, but the unit orders didn't register. So after the deployment, just nothing happened, and that was very, very unfortunate. So I'm gonna go with the other game that I wanted to show you as well, either way, which was the last game, which was on what I think this map is called Loop. I already can't remember anymore. It's a pretty old map, has been in ranked quite a long time as well, but then was removed some time ago, and nobody has ever been sad about that. Because it's pretty unbalanced. If you look at the map, Foxtrot is pretty much our enemies get it for free, and we just have a giant open field to kind of contest it. Like the rest of the map is actually pretty balanced, more or less, but like Foxtrot specifically is just ass cancer to play against if you are on our side. And we played it in the last 2v2 tournament as well. It was also the last match in the last tournament. In this case, we won 2 games and lost 2 games. And yeah, well, the last match would kind of decide whether we would get a better placement than last time or a worse one. Our enemies are Phoenix and Renegade. Don't know those guys. But they also perform decently well, so you know, not noobs or anything. I just don't know them from like 1v1, but those also might be, you know, just team game players, because those people also do exist. Not everybody plays 1v1 ranked. And well, yeah, let's go to the divisions we're actually playing. Sorry for taking so long. We are playing 4E, that's me, and 5E, which is Stahlbrecher, against Phoenix on 5th Panzer Division and Renegade on 82nd Airborne. So NATO versus NATO. In general, a lot more NATO teams this tournament, because last tournament was pretty much just completely dominated by the Soviet or Warsaw Pact teams. In this case, a lot more NATO people, and I think the NATO teams also performed better overall than the Pact teams. Not exactly sure though. I know Woe and Skiffic picked Pact, which because obviously Skiffic is he's not gaslighting. I just think he's wrong saying that 119 is the best division in the game. It's just a very good division. But yeah, they were Pact, but most of the others, most of the other high-level players were actually NATO. And there were no bans this time, so it was like last tournament. You pick 4 divisions to play in the tournament, and then each match you pick 2 out of those 4 divisions. Just as last time you could ban one of your enemy divisions, this time there were no bans at all, which I think is dumb. Because like we basically played the whole tournament just playing 4E and 5E, except for one game where we picked 4E and 3rd Armored, and it didn't go well. It was against like I think Mix 90 and Joker Tart, so also very good players, but still, like 4E and 5E is just like the absolute meta division combo that you can go for, more or less. If you could combine 5E and 56Y, it would probably be even better, but you can't combine Pact and NATO. So yeah, well, 5th Panzer on 82nd Airborne on the other hand, like 5th Panzer, a very, very good division. I think it's a little bit worse than 4E, but not by much. Like they're both extremely good. Like 4E, I would say, is like low S tier, and 5th Panzer high A tier. 82nd, on the other hand, complete trash, hot garbage, abysmal dog shit in 1v1. In team games, it is a bit better because the more expensive tools can be used more, like the planes, I guess. But on the other hand, they still struggle because they just are so cost inefficient. But the big advantage in this case is that their Tortus will be pretty good against my Leopards. So that's at least something. Against Stahl's AMX 30s is a bit overkill, but against my Leopards they will be very dangerous. Yeah, well, so as I said, map very imbalanced. So Foxtrot, no way for us to get in, because that's where 82nd is actually pretty useful. They will get to those positions way earlier than we can, and just hunker down, and then it's GG for us. We will not have a way to go into Foxtrot early on, at least. So we decided to just leave the right side pretty much completely open. Not completely open, just have a very small defensive deployment, as you can see here. And then focus most of our stuff on the left-hand flank. And then have also decent deployment in the center. So again, that we don't get pushed out. And that we can contest them. But the idea is to just early on get complete control of Delta and then push through to Bravo. Because Bravo is a 2-point sector. Delta and Foxtrot are both 1-pointers. So yeah, even contesting Bravo would already be pretty useful. So you can see we are starting with our forward deployed recon, which is like one of the reasons why this combo is so strong. We get the AMX 10s and the CNVs, so we have something to snipe tanks or well, just light armored vehicles, and also units and transports from long range with the AMX 10s, and then the CNVs to get rid of all of some soft targets, and also recon helicopters. You can also see I'm starting with 2 recon helicopters. Stahl doesn't have any, I think. Those will most likely die, as they usually do, but it would be pretty important to see where, for example, 82nd is specifically going, because if they're heavily deploying into Delta, then we would need to unload earlier. Which they could do, because, you know, it's a bit of a mind game. They could know, okay, they will not attack Foxtrot, so we would do a light deployment in Foxtrot and a heavy deployment into Delta, but who knows? Well, and that's why we have the recon helicopters, so that we actually do know. But anyway, yeah, so the recon deployment with the AMX 10s and the CNVs, I have some of my KCT Verkenners going into pretty aggressive positions as well. And then you can see just a giant blob of vehicles in the back. YPRs early on to capture the zones. They're just very cheap, that's why we're taking them over Stahl's command jeeps. They would be faster, but well, they would be more expensive, and we want like the maximum amount of units going into Delta early on. And then we can see here Stahl, as he usually does, starting with his double-wet Tarasks as helicopter, the AA. Then, oh my god, everything's moving now. 2 Brandisses, yeah, 2 Brandisses, some infantry, and a Mephisto. And for me, we have a TOW 2, infantry and YPRs, 2 cheetahs as well, Leopard 1, Leopard 2 A4C, and a supply truck. Actually 2 supply trucks, because I just had, like, I had too many points left to not spend them, but not enough to actually spend them on something useful. Also repositioned the CNV here a little bit to go into the forest patch here. Enemy starting with an F4F to get rid of our recon helicopters, or my recon helicopters. Gets both of them, unfortunately, and was like slightly out of range of the cheetahs. No Rolands early on, so also nothing to catch him off, unfortunately, but I mean, it's fine. Alouette here spots my KCTs. I unload them early to not get them sniped by anything stupidly. Here as well, because I saw a squad going in here, and it's a Dragon squad, so this will be pretty bad for the AMX 10, but the CNV will be able to help out at least a little bit. Alouette here now very annoying, because he will just be spotting everything going into here, giving them the information that we are heavily deploying into there. Stahl here unloading very early, actually. I think he was afraid of units kind of being already somewhere around here, I guess. Maybe it was a misclick, I don't know, actually. Smoking off against the Airborne Dragons here. Didn't want my CNV to die instantly. CNV here as well, smoking off. Left hand side going pretty well now. Tarask are in position to get rid of the Alouette, maybe at some point in time. AMX 10 gets a nice hit on the Leopard, but then gets one shot in return. They get a lot of damage on the Leopard 2A3 though, at least. Smoke was slightly too late, unfortunately. Now my Leopard 2A4C will be pretty hard for the enemy to dislodge though. Because his 2A3 is, well, just worse either way, and it's damaged as well now. Plus the 2 Brennises and the TOW 2 and Leopard 1. YPRs won't do a lot against the armor, obviously, but against the infantry, so he's in a very bad spot here. You can see he's already retreating. Brennis keep being sniped by, I guess it's a Milan 2 here. Oh, it's Jaguar 2 actually. Yeah, well, yeah. That was really unfortunate that he wasn't able to smoke it off in time. But CMD spotted and Leopard 2A4 obviously one-shotting it. Stahl's infantry is finally in the town. Now grinding against the airborne units here. CMG actually outranging the dragon, so that's nice. Also, I've kind of gotten a little bit control over this area here. Spotted something going through here. It was actually a Lux, so Stahl's Gazelle Hot 2 getting rid of it does get killed in return, but I mean that's a trait that's kind of okay. Caught in the F-16, but he was already on his way out, so it was kind of wasted. Also still waiting for the command to be in place. So they have been ticking quite a bit. Here I was also a little bit too cautious with the command. I could just fast moved it directly into the zone because I knew that we have control over the hillside here in general. But yeah, oh well. Oh yeah, here. Leopard 2A4C, by the way, got hit once and instantly bailed out. And because there's still a bug going on, if your tanks gets bailed out, they're gone forever. You can't, I mean, you can repair them, but it will just waste supplies. It will literally not do anything. Which still hasn't been fixed, by the way, which is pretty dumb. A Jaguar HE just gets wrecked by the F-15, which is fair. Like, it's the F-15 with the AMRAAMs. Those are supposed to be good. At least he doesn't get out. My cheetahs snipe him the last second. Kind of have lost all the supporting units around here as well. Get a Leopard 2A3 in return at least. I'm not sure whether I even got a double kill. I did at least get one kill. Also no AA here, so that was nice. So the F-16 gets out for free. But the Leopard 2A4C loss so early on was just back-breaking because they took all the wind out of our sails. And I mean, if this one just wouldn't have been bailed out, it would have already been fine. Like, you know, getting hit is expected on the attack. But like, the bailout crit on the first penetration is just so dumb. And oh my god, man. I hate it so much. Why are crits still like this? I think it's not cool, it's not fun, it's not skillful to just have random crits going everywhere. It's like on my game against Wozny Plus, where I just critted like all of his leopards. Like this doesn't even feel good if you look at this afterwards and you see that you just got the lucky dice roll every time. It should be just it should be tied to where you shoot the tank, so higher chance for of crits for rear shots or side shots, and for the HP. Like a tank shouldn't be, like a heavy tank, for example, shouldn't be bailed out on the first shot, where it takes like 1 or 2 damage. That's complete nonsense. But, well, either way, coping over, spot the Marder here, so try to quickly drive in to kill it off between the TOW 2 and the Leopard 1, but the smoke here was a little bit too late anyway, so the TOW 2 finished it off. And we have kind of stabilized the situation in the sense that we have full control of Delta, so at least the enemy isn't ticking, even though they have Foxtrot completely, because we're contesting the center as well. But I mean, obviously the whole idea of dislodging them early and getting into Bravo is now pretty much gone. And now they will be building up defenses here, and attacking into here will be a complete pain in the ass. iHawk already coming in for some more air defenses, because it's at least highly likely that we will be air spammed to some degree between 5th Panzer and 82nd Airborne. Like 82nd Airborne still has a good air tape, it's just not, for 1v1 it's not very cost efficient, and you're lacking the soft attack. That's the big problem, because like what you have F-16 HE that costs like a minute's worth of income and doesn't literally do anything. The A-10 rocket is cool, but still an A-10, so you know they're kind of not that great anymore. Especially if your enemy has AA, they're borderline useless. Airborne gets sniped somewhere. Okay, that's nice. And yeah, so right now just building up forces. F-16 cluster coming in because I saw a Leopard. Constantly losing a lot of sight on it though was a bit annoying. Stahl's Jaguar here having an aneurysm and just flying into the enemy AA. F-16 cluster gets a kill on the command leopard 2A3 though, that was very nice. What's not very nice is that Stahl's Jaguar HG gets shot down. That was really unfortunate. F-16 takes a bit of damage this time, but gets out once again. And I mean, 2 tank kills, 2 heavy tank kills, so this F-16 has already paid itself off very, very nicely. So I decided to quickly use this moment in time, because I know that he has lost to have one of his heavy tanks, to get a push going into here. The command is going through the left-hand flank. Stahl has control over it with the IMX-10 Sublin D. Leopard 2A4, by the way, missing. Nice. And now his Leopard 2A4C will just completely wreck me here, because I have nothing to contest it with. Stahl is going in with his Brennis, but the problem is that my Leopard 2 can't really engage anymore because it will be killed with the next shot. And the Brennis doesn't have the best engagement against the Leopard 2A4C. He still retreats though for some reason, even though like it literally does like, what is it, 1 damage? Or maybe 2 damage if you're lucky. The grind in the town not really going too great. We're not losing, but we're also not winning. And Stahl is using a lot of resources to keep them back here, so it's like not the best. Also, commandos here probably about to die, which is not that nice. I have called in artillery now, because yeah, well, we are in a stalemate already. As I said, the early push here hasn't worked, so the M110s need to get going and working. And yeah, his commandos do in fact die. That's very, very painful. You really want to keep your commandos alive as long as possible. I'm calling in a bunch of infantry squads into the town as well to help him to keep the positions there, because we really don't want to lose them. Leopard 2A4 here now wrecking my infantry, moving over the open. I was hoping he retreated his Leopard 2A4 further away, but well, yeah, he didn't. But the good thing is, because he's so focused on this, we were able to get in the corner here. And actually we are taking it at +2 now, marking his stuff. 2 Apaches in the back here, also not really cool. I mean, the thing is, on the defense, those are great, but he can't really use them for the offense, because, I mean, I have Cheetahs and Stingers, and Stahl has Mistrals. So, between the both of us, we have, like, basically the best anti-helicopter AA in the whole game. More or less. If we would have Cheetahs plus Gepards, I think that would be technically better, but, yeah, still extremely good. M110s here just were put on counter-battering the mortar, because I want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. Tornado cluster coming in to kill the command. Not sure whether it will be able to get out of harm's way in time. The cluster dies and it doesn't even hit, so that was very well done by me. I don't know. Gotta say it. And I mean, IHawk and +2 Cheetahs is pretty good air defense. Eagle also flying over them now, so this is giga dead. Yeah, especially because one of the Cheetahs has already vetted up. Those are just so insane. They're so good, I love them. But now the infantry here is being wrecked by the Pioneer and the Apaches. So yeah, this is pretty much over now. I decided to just kind of dive his Apaches with my F-16s, because if I get them, and I do get one, that's kind of already worth it, because his Apache, like, he doesn't get a lot of Apaches, that's the thing. So killing one of them is already very, very worth it, even though this was the rocket one, so this is worth a lot less than the ATGM ones, or the mixed that get ATGMs and Hell Arms. But still, a Hellfire, sorry, not Hell Arms, that's the British AT helicopter. Cheetah's trying to push in to push the Apaches back. Also Stahl coming in with some commandos, that will be very nice in the town fighting here. But the Leopard 2s here are kind of annoying. His F4 comes in to strafe the commandos, but is too late, and yeah, well, the Cheetahs completely destroy it. The Tornado now, though, a little bit annoying. Going for the Brennis. Does get a hit, but not a kill. But survives this time. I think the IHawk was out of ammo. No, it wasn't actually. Wasn't yet. Target the Gepard here in case I want to go for another bombing run. Wanted to make it as safe as possible. I mean, one Gepard alone obviously doesn't do much. But I don't want him to be able to build up a Gepard blob, because this will be very, very painful. And the F-16 cluster coming in once again and getting another beautiful kill. So this is already at least 3 Leopards down to this one F-16 cluster. Absolute fantastic unit. I love it so much, because it's like, you know, finally an F-16 that has an actual bomb load that does something. What the fuck, man? Okay, Stahl Sublime missing at like, what, 1,300 meters range or something? Hilarious. Finally gets the hit. Bruh. But yeah, Apache then gets hit with the Hellfire. The cheaters were a bit too far back. Should have pushed them up further in this at this point in time here, but I think I was also paying attention to the right side, or to the center rather. Because Stahl's infantry was taking a lot of damage here, and while we're still in control, obviously we don't want to completely lose it, because as I said, again, grinding your way back in is always harder than just, well, keeping your position. The Stingers here being fired by something, not really sure what. His Mirage gets one of the enemy Apaches. That's very nice, that's one of the mixed ones, so that gets Hellfires and rocket pods. Those are very, very strong. Stingers of myself coming in as well for some more air defense. This one here needs a new supply truck, but I haven't noticed yet, unfortunately. M110s keeping up their fire. They have counter battery, yeah, one of the 105s. There were actually two 105s next to each other, but unfortunately one of them survived. Leopard 2A3 here. Unfortunately, smokes and the F-16 loses track of the target, gets hit in return. Does it actually escape? Damn, okay, that was very lucky. good god. But Leopard 2A3 here surviving, obviously very unfortunate. Milan 2 in the tower might be able to get the Brennis. No, it doesn't. But this will be very painful, like the church here just has a very good line of sight on this whole area. 5th Panzer trying to counter battery with the M109s, but I mean the M109s are obviously way worse than the M110s. And also I'm moving my artillery. I'm not a complete noob. Stahl's Jaguar AT coming in, getting another Leopard 2A3. So we are killing a lot of Leopards, but the thing is, we are still 300 points behind, and then the Jaguar AT also gets sniped by the other Roland here. Kind of unfortunate, you know, it has 30% ECM and it's double vet, so it's more like 40% ECM. Kind of unlucky. Gets some nice kills on the Pioneer Kai Gustav. Problem is though that he takes them unvetted, so he has a lot of them. They will obviously perform much worse than if they would be vet 1. But just the sheer amount of them can also just be annoying on their own. Yeah, more Leopard 2s coming in here from my side, more infantry on their way as well. So there's like 3 Leopard 2A4s here now. YPR Pratt in position as well as some long-range support. Diving another Apache with my F-16. This one should go down in return though. I mean, so much AA here. I think it will, yeah, does go down. But I mean, that's fine. We have killed, how many, 3 or 4 Apaches and have lost 1 fighter for it? That's totally fine. I would take this trade any day of the week, I'm not gonna lie. The problem is that, like, here we're kind of in a stalemate. We just can't get a foothold here because they're constantly pushing us out. They also have control over this area now because Stahl's Sublinde has been sniped by the Apache. And the town isn't going anywhere at the moment. My M110's unfortunately out of ammo, didn't buy supply trucks early enough. And time is on our side, but we also don't have, you know, infinite amounts of time. Like 50 minutes have already gone by. And this map ticks fast, but you have to remember, like, the enemies can also push us back. It's not like we're the only ones that can push. It's 82nd and 5th Panzer. And 5th Panzer still has a lot of late game potential with Martyr Spam and Leopard 1s and Leopard 2s. So this is really not the best position. Bunch of Leopard 1s here in the defensive positions from the enemies. Not sure whether this was the best choice. Well, it is if my Leopard 2 just misses them now. Maybe the MX-30 Brennis finishes it off. Yes, it does. Nice. Yeah, the Leopard 1A1A1s, just having them sit in the forest here as defensive tools, not the best idea. Though they get the Sublinde. Don't know why Stahl was moving it aggressively in here. Maybe he missed the existence of the other Leopard 1A1A1 here. Don't know. I mean, I was moving my YPRs over the open because they can't do anything against the Leopard 1 anyway. The Leopards that were sitting in the back now also moving up. The Leopard 2A4B here did survive at least, so I can repair it up. He starts to mortar this corner, I think. Fun fact, or like not fun fact, but PSA, never use DHE on mortars. Like maybe if you have like 3 or 4 of them together, yeah, then maybe. And even then, rather just buy howitzers for HE damage, and if you buy mortars, use them for smoke. Other than that, they're just so useless. Except for the cluster mortars of Mnet, they're actually goated against tanks. And obviously then the heavy mortars of 56, yeah, but I mean those are a category of their own anyway. P4PC now finally driving in, so we will get a few points at least again. Artillery coming in for the pioneers. I think they're already dead, so that wasn't the best use of artillery. Town fight still kind of just not moving anywhere. It's constantly just them pushing a little bit, us pushing a little bit, so no real developments happening there. Mars going for counter battery because Stahl bought his auf 1 and then forgot to move it after he fired. Anyway, yeah, unfortunately our enemies already had their Mars up, and so his auf 1 will get killed. The thing was also that he didn't know why it died, so this led to me using my Bow 105 to just go back and check the backline, because he was afraid that something was in our backline, but yeah, he just didn't notice that he was counter batteried by the Mars. Tornado Cluster also came in and killed the P4PC, and iHawk is a little bit too far back in this case. I just didn't want to move it up too far, honestly, because yeah, as I said, we don't have a really good foothold here yet. Second level 2A4C though going down for the enemy, that's very, very important. And my 2A4C surviving. So 5th Panzer gets twice the amount of Leopard 2A4Cs than I do. They don't get any 2A4Bs though. So if I get rid of his 2A4Cs while keeping mine alive, I will have a good advantage. Even if I don't keep them alive, just having 2A4Bs against 2A3s is a good advantage to have. Seed coming in and just dying because I was microing my units. This Leopard 2A4 though not very well microed, so I quickly retreated. So now it's like 2v1. So he has 2 Cs left, I have 1 left, and that's kind of okay. My F-16A8 died at some point somewhere. Oh, sorry, I missed that. I was too busy looking at Stahl's auf 1 getting counter batteried. But yeah, well, now all these tanks here need repairs. I don't think we will even have enough supplies to repair all of this. And the iHawk is almost out of ammo now, so a new supply truck is on the way though, and the second iHawk also on the way, because they were just bombing us all the time in here, which makes sense because they know that we have to be in this corner. But I might as well just buy in another iHawk then. Both cheetahs have already vetted up. That's very nice, and yeah, now you can see I'm moving back the Bow 105 to check our backline, because obviously I don't want there to be a bunch of units there. MX-10RC and 30B2 unfortunately dying in the center here. But again, like, they're dying, but they're still not pushing us out of the center, and we're not pushing them out of the center. So it's just an ungodly grind fight. Enemy has now established quite a good position on the far left flank, which is very bad for us. Some squad here getting caught out in the open. Don't know what this is. Maybe Fernspeers or something? Not sure. What actually is that? Oh, those were Panzer Grenadiers. Oh, okay. I was very confused there for a second. And 110s getting to work on the Mothers. I don't want him to get a critical mass of those, and I don't see any. Well, I then spotted the Jaguar, but that was too late, so I didn't actually see it, because this would have been a better target for the M110s. And then he also moves the Marder just in time, so that was unfortunate. M110 then also wastes 1 shot on the position. I just wasn't there in time to stop it from firing. And yeah, so it's just a giant stalemate. Nobody can push anywhere. Forgot to prevent the iHawk from selling his transport, but in this case it was fine anyway. Like, whatever. If he argues it, then he argues it. They haven't done it so far, so whatever. Here I went for a cheeky counter battery on his 109. Because, well, also to be fair, I didn't know whether he was using the M109 or the infantry howitzers, so I was just hoping that it would be the infantry howitzers and then he wouldn't move it, because that would be very bad for him and good for me. Buying some F5s to go for a bombing run. I think I will use them in the center to bomb out Airborne here. F5 is also just one of the reasons why 4E is so broken. Like, I'm sure you can say they cost 215 points, but it's 10 HP and 20% ECM for 2 450 kilogram bombs. that's such good value for money. It's actually insane. And yeah, F5s go in, get 2 squads, very nice. One gets hit in return though, the other one actually dies. So yeah, overall trade is like meh, but it will at least get Stahl some breathing room. Well, only some because there's new infantry already in on the flank here. He's here actually firing at the Mother. Nice, gets a kill. That's good. Got in some genies to actually be able to grind against his infantry, because my infantry was just never able to actually get into the zone and hold their position there. He now used this Mars to counter battery, but to kill my command here in the back. That was really unfortunate. So I was called in the infantry command next, so that the Mars couldn't do anything against it. Micro this M110 back because it was still stuck on the one shell it was about to fire. F16 LGB comes in, but it's so useless I can't even one-shot an AMX-30 and just dies in return. So yeah, never buy those LGBs, they're borderline useless. Because I sniped a command here, that means that they are taking the +2 again, and that's what I said, like, it can very easily tick in the favor of our enemies once again, and then we will be under even more pressure. What the fuck, this Bren is even vetted up? Jesus Christ, how many kills did he get? Okay, that's kind of insane. Tow 2 here, a little bit annoying. So Stahl quickly smoked off. I noticed it as well, but he was even faster than me, so well done by him. M110 is going for something. Don't even know what exactly. Leopard 2 A4C misses the Humvee tow. Nice. But the Humvee tow also firing at something? Did it fire at a supply truck here or something? I don't even know what it was firing at. But either way, Leopard 2 A4C did get the kill. Does get fired at by a bunch of Milan 1s though, that it can't see because there's no recon up here, so that's not very nice. So I retreated to keep it alive. Because now, as I said, we are under quite a bit of pressure because we only have 50 minutes left. The enemy is ticking at a +2 right now. We will stop the tick once the command is in. It would take quite some time though. Not sure whether taking those in the YPRs does actually make sense or not. It's just like extra autocannon fire support, but they take longer to get to the front line. But mostly this shouldn't matter. It shouldn't. Doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. How it's just being put on the city, just because I wasn't seeing anything valuable here, like yeah, the Panzer Grenadier, but the Panzer Grenadier are not that scary to me. But then I stopped the fire orders in the town because all the infantry just moved to different buildings in the meantime. Stahl's AMX-30 is actually in there before me, so the stick stops. Also called in some stingers as some additional air defense, just because I was still kind of worried about the enemy air spamming us to death. So, this IHOG is actually double vet at this point. Like, you can imagine how much air spam there was going on if an IHOG has vetted up twice already. Now I decided to just split up the howitzers because, like, 2 M110s on a Panzer Grenadier is a waste, but 1 and the other one going in an Airborne, that's kind of okay. Maybe should have told Stahl that there was danger close going in here, because those suppers could have really taken quite a lot of damage from the M110. We even killed it with it, not sure. But the Panzer Grenadier here also taking a lot of damage and dying. That's very, very nice. But I just wasn't able to push the Leopard 2A4 in here because we just can't get the foothold established there. It was so annoying. They were always constantly pushing us out again. Yeah, just trying to move the genies over the open to get into the town here, but he now has just like a whole other company of infantry here. Like, look at this. Like, there's just no way we're gonna push, just dry push into here. KC-4 cannon is coming for the far left, so that I can actually use the Leopard 2A4C here. The other LGB, by the way, coming in and dying once again, doing literally nothing. That's what I mean about them being useless. And remember, they're still like super expensive and only come at 1 per card. It's just a complete joke of a unit, honestly. Like, never take it. Mars firing again. Don't even know what it's going to be firing at. Yeah, it's firing at the AMX-30 B2. Oh, that's actually nice. That's well done by our enemy, but just unfortunate that I also have a command in here. So even if he kills it, that won't give him anything. And yeah, now Stahl has already moved it out of position. And here I decided to just again try to go for a counter battery on the Mars. Because, you know, why not? I wasn't seeing too many other valuable stationary targets. So might as well try. Leopard gets targeted by some ATGM once again. Also bought in the smoke mortars to actually be able to finally get into here and then from there move further into the town. Milan 2 unfortunately sniped my infantry squad in the YPR because I was an idiot and I just completely forgot to deal with this stupid Milan 2 in the church there. So this could have been a good target for the M110s actually. But another good target was the Mars, because I did actually kill it. He didn't move it. So that was very, very important, because this, I think it's still 300 points or something that are now dead, which will make it a lot easier for us to use our heavy tanks. Like my heavy tanks, Stahl doesn't have any heavy tanks. Enemy counter-battering my mortars, well done by him, but you can also see it's only one howitzer firing, because I actually did kill the other howitzer as well when I did my first counter-battery. Is it back here? Oh no, that's the Mars still. It was somewhere in here, I think. I won't find it right now. But either way, I did kill it. Finally putting the M110s on the Milan 2. Do get into the sector here. 5 billion ATGMs flying at the Leopard 1s. I mean, that's fair that I don't see them because I did kind of smoke my own KCT as well. And the Verkenners here aren't in position yet to spot the ATGMs back there. Tornado HE coming in, does get killed by the double upwetted cheetahs. They're just such nice units, I love them a lot. F-16 cluster came in, but I think it didn't drop anything. And then this F-16 just goes for the Marder. The idea would have been for both of them to go in at the same time, but then they went in, well, not at the same time. Did survive though, both of them, so that's nice. Yeah, you can see the F-16 HE came in and it did literally fuck all. Look at this, 1 damage. It's such a joke. It's not even funny. Tornado HE coming in, this one will actually do a lot more damage. Even though I think it's either cheaper or like about the same price. Yeah, sure, it's a high altitude bomber, but I would rather have a high altitude bomber that actually does something than a dive bomber that does fuck all. It's not even funny. It makes me depressed every time I look at it. Especially because we have the Dutch. The Dutch have like useful F-16s, and it's so nice to use them. Now he puts his artillery on the Leopard 2A4, the 2A4CR. I was trying to right-click them on the YPR, on the Jaguar 2, sorry, but then like a bunch of other, like 5 billion tanks and ATGMs just magically appeared from nowhere. And I wasn't paying attention, so the Leopard 2A4 was lost for pretty much no reason at all. The 2A4C though is still alive, so that's at least good. But you can see, we are preparing for a push on the right-hand side. I'm buying in the latter 2 mortars I still have. And we will try to get in here, because like it was just obvious that there's no way for us to contest the left-hand side at this point. They like pretty much invested all they have into this little area here. Maybe we could have tried to push over the open here, but then it's like, where do we even go? Here we at least have this little town here to entrench ourselves in, but on this side, like there's literally nothing there. And those units will also, they will just die once they get into here, because I also now have a 40mm grenade launcher up. It's just painful. Leopard 2A4C though might get a Leopard 2A3. No, it doesn't, of course, it misses. Double vet, by the way. Bruh. Cluster comes in, but kind of turns away for no reason. And then F-16, F4AA comes in, so maybe it will go through. No, it just gets sniped. One shot instantly. The Eyehawk here, again out of ammo, by the way. It has vetted up twice and is out of ammo again. Good god. Eyehawk here also was killed by his artillery, so, you know, maybe should have kept the transport there to be able to move it. Bro. Too late now. So double infantry stacked in this building, so don't mind if I do. Quickly kill him off. Here I try to just fly the bow 105 over the town to maybe get a cheeky spot on the enemy's command in the town, so that we could snipe it or like artillery it or bomb it, whatever. Brand's missing twice. Jesus Christ. Tornado cluster coming in for my cheetahs. Again, I wasn't paying attention, so it does get sniped. I think, did this one even double like vet up twice as well? I'm not sure. The tornado cluster does go down in return though, so that's kind of okay. I mean, the push here is pretty much over anyway. We are gearing up for a push on the right-hand side soon. Units haven't arrived yet. Like, P4 command is in position, but no other units. And the town grind is actually going in our favor right now. As I said, it's always been a bit back and forth anyway, but right now we are in the commanding position. The Bo 105 unfortunately wasn't able to get a cheeky spot on the enemy command. That was sad. Brandis here gets sniped by the Tow 2 of Jaguar. Very unfortunate. I think that was a bit too cocky by Stahl to not smoke it off in time. A bunch of B2s here also sitting waiting for repairs. I don't think he only takes 2 supply cards in this deck. So maybe he was actually out of them. And yeah, the tanks here are now repaired, but you can see it's like a lot less tanks now. You only have 1 Leopard 2A4 command and the 2A4C left. Infantry is also pretty much all dead. So yeah, it really didn't go too well, not gonna lie. We did get a few points, but not even enough for a draw. And I don't think there are any... No, I think there were draws in this tournament, so... it could have been important. Second out of 1 is in position, and this time it can't get counter battery by the Mars because I already counter battery did. Yeah, he's also trying to smoke his way in here, but I mean our enemy obviously notices and starts just moving into this area. Stahl is prepared though, and calls in the swarm of Gazelle cannons. And you can see he just have a bunch of units coming in here for an attack as well to then actually push him out of here. Because I was just assuming that there can't be that much left in here. They have invested so ungodly, with such an ungodly amount of points on the left-hand side that most likely they will have the units that they had in the beginning here, and that's kind of it. Gazelle Cannon is doing a good job against the Airborne, but the Tornado did kill the P4 command, because we don't have any AA up here except for the Tarrasque. Also not calling it any AA yet. That's actually not the best use of points, but oh well, it is what it is. Gazelles are now being strafed by enemy planes, though F-15 not even able to kill a Gazelle. F-15 is just such a joke, honestly. Ronin 3 also dying somewhere, what the fuck? Oh, he was pushing through with his aim, so B2s, nice. But yeah, in general, F-15C is horribly overpriced. Like, if you compare it to the AC-27, it's just a joke. Like, this one at least has the AMRAMs, so it's kind of okay. But if you compare the F-15C with the Sparrows to the AC-27, you will just get depressed. Like, it straight up makes no sense. It has worse missiles, but it has 10% more ECM. But all its missiles are worse, and it has less of them, and then it's like 20% more, 20 points more expensive. What the fuck even is that? F-16HE here unfortunately gets intercepted by the Eagle, but the F5 goes through, so this should be a good kill. It actually even does get a double kill. F-16 cluster circling around, but no real target for it at the moment. Mortar still smoking the corner, so I can move in my Leopard 2 command and then just drive through with my tanks and YPRs and get the infantry into the town itself. The town here, I mean, kind of Stahl has pushed forward with his units, but there aren't a lot of units left. I did go for a cluster bomb here on the command, but obviously it's a cluster, so it didn't do that much. It was kind of just a, you know, going for... Oh god. The lag is insane. Okay, so this should be about the point where the game just crashed. Sorry for that. Yeah, well, so actually, my cluster didn't kill the command infantry, but Stahl's Jaguar AG did. He first thought that it didn't, because the front line did collapse a little bit too slow. But yeah, well, it did actually kill it. While my tanks and IVs on the right side are pushing through, because there was very reinforcements coming in here. But the good thing is, those were all Jäger. So those can't really contest me in the open. That's the problem right now. Now we have 2 command tanks in here. They only have 1 howitzer firing at them. That's not gonna do much. And this gives us a +3 because we have the left contested, the center is completely ours, and the right contested, even a +5. So this will make us win pretty quickly. Gepards here are now caught out in the open. Horrible, not like they would have done much. Don't have any air here anyway. But, well, I mean, losing units overall, obviously, still bad. More units flooding into the center, because we obviously wanted to keep the advantage here as long as possible. Left-hand side, it was pretty much just, you know, moving in for some extra points. It was pretty clear that we wouldn't be able to keep the advantage here. But even if it's just for a time, that's still good, because there's not much time left. If you look, 4 minutes maximum. And here I just decided to go for it and get my tanks into this forest patch here, because then I can cut off the right reinforcement road and the left reinforcement road, and then there's basically nothing the enemy can do to reinforce this town anymore. Not that they could do much either way because the game is so far gone. Leopard 1 here dueling the Martyr, but everybody just missing until the Mao. Genies will be dead because there's just so much infantry here. Howard is already getting on the job to get rid of them. Obviously the left hand side has collapsed again, so we won't get tick from it anymore, but that doesn't really matter that much because, as I said, we have now ticked so much in a very short amount of time that it's fairly unlikely for our enemies to be able to come back now again. Center is holding decently well. He will be able to get a command infantry squad again because we haven't been able to keep our complete control of the center. But that doesn't matter that much because we are still at a tick. The Leopard 2A4C here will most likely die to the Puniers, I would guess. Most likely, at least. Yeah, his F-15 also dying. Stahl's command tank here did get killed in the end. But as I said, like, I didn't even care about that because my tank is hitting here in the corner. It's being smoked, so he doesn't even see it. So he can't use AT planes on it. And then I decided to just drive my YPRs around the flank here because I know that this command has to be somewhere in here. If it's an infantry command, they will die, but it's like whatever. If it's not an infantry command though, and it's a jeep or something, I will actually kill it, and this will put us at an even higher tick advantage. HE bomber coming in, but the Leopard 2 doesn't really care. It doesn't hit either way. Stahl's infantry here almost got sniped in the transport, so it would have been very bad. They did try to sneak a command in here though, and as you can see, our defenses here are not pretty likely to hold. Leopard 2A4 is still alive. Jesus Christ, but it will surely die. No, it won't die. What the fuck? That's pretty dumb. And yeah, well, the YPRs did actually find the Humvee command, so this gives us a full command of this sector, so I actually didn't even have to care about losing this sector. Not that much though, because the problem is that we don't have a command of our own in here at the moment, so I did call in an infantry command, but it will take quite some time for it to arrive. The Fuchs is driving through. I guess he's trying to get to the forest and then maybe trying to even drive through our back zone, which makes sense because they are in a very desperate spot. But I mean, we did have a silent line of sight of it because of Stahl's Dragon Paras, so the F5 just comes in and bombs it, dies in return, but that it doesn't matter at all anymore. Losses now are completely psychological at this point. His Leopard 2A4C also struggling against the Leopard 2A4B, lol. Then I get a perfect shot on it. And Leopard 2A4B also here driving out of cover. I think I killed a Leopard 2 here as well from a side shot or something. Or at least I killed something from a side shot here, I just don't know whether it was a Leopard 2A4. And yeah, the Leopard 2A4C here now also dead. Also decided to just, why not drive through the YPRs into the enemy's back zone. Spotted a command here with the Leopard 1. So maybe we will actually be able to kill it off towards the end of the game. Oh no, it misses. Bruh. Come on. It was very stunned, I guess, but it was still so close range, man. You could have hit it. But they actually have two commands here in at least. Might even be an infantry command somewhere there. But it doesn't matter. 10 seconds left. We are so many points ahead that they stand no chance in hell to get the advantage back. And so this is how we won the 5th game. And this put us at the 5th place in the tournament, which is a pretty good performance. Actually, look at this kill list. KD, Jesus Christ, I did very well in this game. Stahl actually 0.94 KD, but it's okay. He did perform very well in the other games as well. And I mean, we did win this game. It's just that his infantry traits weren't the best in the center. But yeah, 5th place, considering that we literally only had one evening to practice because I was away during the last week, and we played 2 games, and that was our whole preparation. This was actually pretty good, and we also had like tough opponents. The game against Mix 90 and Joker was like our worst game because we just completely misplayed the map and it was on Albion, and yeah, nothing worked out for us. It was just horrible. The other game we lost against Yuki-Po and Blitzwar, so also like very good players. And that was a bit closer. It was 119th and 76 yeah, also a pretty strong combo. So yeah, overall pretty happy. Was a fun tournament. Phoenix also getting a lot of kills actually, but yeah, look at this. Like 82nd is just so bad. Honestly, if you would have picked pretty much any division at 82nd, this game would have been so much harder for us. And yeah, the F-16 cluster just getting such a good value. 3 leopards is already more than enough, and then getting an Alouette and a Marder on top of it just makes it even better. Early game though going very badly because of this Leopard 2A4C bailout. This was horrible, man. F-16 getting 2 Apaches. Also, as I said, just this is so worth it because 82nd doesn't get a lot of Apaches. And then the M110 getting 1, 2, 3, 4 artillery counter batteries. Also very nice. And then the other one also getting 2 Panzermörser. So 9 artillery pieces counter battery by those, and then plus also just the other kills they got. Very, very good artillery pieces. The M110's arguably the best artillery in the whole game. Like the Malyutka might be better, but you only get it in one division. And the Piona in Corpus Santovi is like, it only has a 2-shot salvo, and Corpus Santovi just in general is such a garbage division that it doesn't matter. So all facts considered, I think the M110 is just the best arty in the whole game. It's not even funny. Though to be fair, they could have also, moved their artillery, then I wouldn't have been able to counter battery them that easily. Cheetahs, basically the best gun AA in the game. Almost, like 4E is a broken division that just gets shit tons of very good stuff for pretty cheap prices. The prices aren't even the problem. It's more, except for the CNV, it's more the activation slots costs that are so cheap. 2A4B here didn't do a lot, but the 2A4C did kind of repay itself. It actually killed another 2A4C, so it actually did repay itself massively. And then Martyrs and Leopard ones, so this would perform nicely. Ihawks trying to hold back the air spam, and as I said, like F-16 HE is so bad, man. Never take it. It's not worth it. It costs a shit ton and doesn't do anything. It maybe kills an ATGM if you're lucky. It's just no. Don't take it. I don't even know where the AT planes were from 82nd. Like, that would have made a lot more sense. The F-16 ATs could have been a big problem for us. Like, the F-16 HE doesn't do shit, and then you compare it to the F-5 HE that just wrecks everything. What is the balance here? It's non-existent. Because this one is slightly more expensive than this one, but this is just better in every way. Jesus Christ. YPRs also shredding infantry. Leopard 2A4 actually getting a 105mm Lemao. Nice. And yeah, but mostly the kills were just from the M110s. It's just insane. On the losses side, nothing too surprising, I guess. Yeah, Leopard 2, the Tornado cluster killing Leopard 2A4C. Very unfortunate, but happens sometimes. Other than that, yeah, the Apaches were pretty annoying until we got rid of them, and then when the Apaches are dead, what does 82nd even have left? Not that much. Rollins did finally kill my air, but it just took them way too long. The Mars also only got 1 kill on my command, and it luckily counter batteried the 1 howitzer from Stahl because he forgot to move it, and that was it for, if I'm not mistaken, 300 points. That's also not the best usage. You should also split up your barrages with the Mars. Yes, it's not like you're not making sure to get the kill then, but you get a lot more chances to get a kill. That's the logic behind it. Artillery also didn't perform that well for the enemy. And yeah, just overall, on paper, the combination makes sense, right? So 82nd can take the ground early on, and then 5th Panzer pushes in the late game. But in practice, 82nd is just one of the most useless divisions in the game. Like, honestly, rather take 11E, because their stuff is at least not retardedly overpriced. And their air force is actually good. Their fighters are worse, but they're also cheaper. Yeah, and their helicopters also are cheaper, but they're way more cost efficient. But anyway, yeah, it was a fun tournament. Thanks for Protoss for organizing it and casting it on the day. There will be one in May, though I don't know whether I will have time in May. We will see. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Also very unfortunate that the game on the community map didn't work. Sorry for that, but what can you do? The replay is broken. Yeah, next video will be something more standard, though not completely. So stay tuned. And until then, I wish you a beautiful day, and bye bye.